Okay, folks, now the time has come for you to write a sonnet of your own. And I know you're thinking, huh? But what? Huh? About what? How? Why? Huh? Who? Where? Well, I'm going to give you some steps. Basically, what you're going to do is take one of the more traditional looking sonnets on your handout there, and I'm going to want you to choose one word from each line to make a 14-line, one word per line sonnet. I want you to do that 3 times. And then essentially take one of those 3 one word per line sonnets that you've made and expand it out into a full-length sonnet. I've got a couple of examples of this to show you. So for this one, the poet's original choice was to look at William Shakespeare's Sonnet 18, as you can see right there. And he chose a number of different words. He chose summers, temperate, buds, hath hot complexion, from nature's eternal possession, death lines men's lives, to make this one word per line sonnet, which for some reason he decided needed to be spaced out across the page like that. Summer's temperate buds have hot complexion, from nature's eternal possession, death lines men's lives. It makes sense. This is the key thing. You can't just pick a bunch of random words and hope it'll work. You need to actually make those words make sense. He then took those words to form the basis of his own sonnet. Summer's the time when blowflies aggregate, temperate dwellers that kiss the roadside meet, as buds push through the earth like green fists. I've never felt hotter than outside Muttaburra. The hot thermals kept the black kites spiralling up. My friend's complexion was burnt red by waiting. We'd hitched from Bowen to find work at Mount Isa, but nature's prospect for us was limited to lunch. The time spent on the road's edge felt more eternal. Our only possession was a teepee of eucalypt saplings, as death hovered over us like a burnt-winged mirage. The highway's white lines blurred into the afternoon as men's business passed us by in utilities for the DPI. Our lives saved by 2 English girls in a silver Daihatsu. So that's Brendan Dionysus. He is a poet and a teacher, and is the guy who actually introduced this whole exercise to me. So I had to do an example of my own. So I chose this poem to start with, To Emily Dickinson by Ivor Winters, and I picked these particular words. You can see them highlighted here in red. You can see them even more clearly on this page where they're on their own. This basically, because I was looking for something happy. We'd been creating poems all afternoon, and we were getting tired, and they were all getting depressing, and I thought, no, I can't write another depressing one. Let's have something happy. So I picked the words, Emily makes my heart makes words, and rise upland to certitude, footsteps trace God. A bit cheery, perhaps, but then that is what I used to expand out into my full poem. And I kept thinking of my niece, who is 6 years old, and has the sort of facial expression that lets you know that she seems to be almost up for any kind of trouble, and accept no substitute. So I decided to write the poem about her. Emily throws open the windowsill and makes faces at the world, her eyes flushed with the coming day's mischief, and her heart grown bold as truth. No warnings now will make her pause. Mere words are no barrier to those who seek and find and thrive on life. Rather she rises into morning's gleaming promise, charges upland to noon's glistening peak, and slides downhill to evening's easy calm, with all the certitude that comes from being 6. Her day's footsteps disappear overnight, but will be traced by the sun on waking tomorrow, God of all she surveys. You take each of those words and you expand out the line to make the poem about what you want it to be about. You'll note that I haven't bothered with the rhyme scheme, and it's certainly not written in even iambic pentameter, so this is what we would call a free verse sonnet. It's a bit more modern than the old style Shakespearean ones, which were very regular rhyme and rhythm. But nonetheless, it would still qualify. In terms of a volta, that turning point, we might be looking perhaps around this line here, with rather she rises into morning's gleaming promise. We've had a description of who she is and what she's about to get up to, and then this little question here about mere words are no barrier to those, so that we finished that section with an obstacle, and now she gets past that obstacle. And it's a bit more positive in a way. And basically I try to imagine her as being kind of solar powered. Like in the morning she'd charge up, and then throughout the afternoon she'd be all go, 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 and then as the sun went down, so would her energy levels, and she'd come home to go to sleep. So she was the sun god of the suburbs. Whether or not it works as a poem, you judge for yourselves. But either way, that's the step that you need to follow. What I will want from you will basically look something like this. I've got the original poem that I started with here. I've got the 1 word per line sonnet that I made out of that there, and then my own finished sonnet there. I will want all 3 things from you handed up. That's what the assignment's going to be. That's what you need to get cracking on.